Pre-selection then. Let's talk about pre-selection. What did I do to get ready for what is reputedly the hardest course in the military anywhere on earth? And I'm going to tell you that anyway, because that's how I truly do believe that, all right? Forget about everybody else. Selection for the SAS is the hardest course in the world bust, all right? There you go. From the horse's mouth, which is mine. Right, okay, let's get straight on with it. What did I do to get ready? Well, I was on an operational tour in Northern Ireland, so I had to temper everything extremely carefully around operations and all the rest of the stuff that was going on at that time. So it wasn't probably the best time to get ready. That said, you've got to take what you can get. Now, I jokingly always say the hardest part of selection was getting on it. And it really was. It took me nearly 2 years to get on selection. A combination of COs not wanting to let you go, to operational commitments, to not being ready myself, led to it taking so long to actually finally get through those gates and get selection started properly. In the meantime, you need to keep yourself on top of what you're doing. So, what do you need to be? Do you need to be a superhuman athlete? No. I've never been a superhuman athlete in my life, and I still ain't now, as you can tell, right? What you have to be is someone who can pass all their military fitness tests, okay? In my case, in the day, it was a BFT, it was a CFT, and it was no more than that, really, an 8 miler and a mile and a half, and I could do those comfortably. You then had the 2 miler, the Brecon 2 miler. Again, I could comfortably pass a 2 miler with all my kit on. So my fitness levels were okay. Now, this is where I always say to people, don't overtrain. Don't go mad. Selection is going to give you every opportunity to fail without you going mad and giving yourself an opportunity. And I'll tell you now, guys on my selection turned up twitching like racehorses, all right? They were overtrained. They'd peaked far too early. It's all about getting yourself ready and all about keeping yourself in the right shape to attempt a course which is going to arduously knock the living daylights out of you. So what did I do? I never went mad on my knees. I never went stupid in the hills with loads of weight, okay? I walked the hills, yes, but I never walked with large amounts of weight. I never took too much out. I took enough safety equipment with me and enough that I needed for a day's exercise in the hills. Some water, a little bit of food, some warm kit, some dry kit, some emergency kit, some, in those days, 10 pences for the phone and that sort of thing. You know the score, okay? That's what I had on me. All right, so I never went up in the hills with a great big pack. I never thought it necessary that I would have to go out and go absolutely mad and bust a gut. Because like I said, selection is going to do that for you. So don't do it before you get there. Keep yourself on top of it. I did loads of cardio. I did loads of swimming. Because swimming is low impact on your joints. And your joints are going to get absolutely hammered on selection because whatever weight you are, you're going to put up to 100 kilos on top of that when you're moving around, all right? It's a lot of weight. It's a lot of impact on those knees, hips, back, all the rest of it, okay? So don't go mad overloading yourself before you go. I did weights. I didn't go mad on the weights, but I kept enough muscle on the bone because another thing that's going to happen during the period that you're on selection is your body is going to dissipate, all right? You're going to lose a lot of weight. You're not going to be able to get the calories into your body that you need, okay, to put weight on, all right? You're going to be burning thousands and thousands of calories every day. You're going to be scoffing like a scoff monster. You are going to be pushing food into your clacker at every given opportunity, okay? I remember, eating and eating and eating. The other thing was, before I started selection, I had a good rest of 2 or 3 weeks over the period before I started selection, which was the January. I took probably 3 weeks, maybe a little bit more, where I didn't do hardly any training, just some very, very light runs. But I scoffed. I ate like a pig. I tried to put on 2 or 3 kilos before I went down the road. And I'll tell you why. Because I knew that I was going to get thrashed. I knew that I wasn't going to be able to sustain myself if I was turning up, bulging out my T-shirt, busting out with no fat on my body and nothing to give. Because believe you me, selection is going to take a lot of that stuff from you, all right? It's going to take a lot of weight off your body, all right? By the time you've finished, as we'll talk about when I talk about the hills, by the time you've finished that, your body's going to be a mess, all right? So make sure there's some fat on the bone before you start. All right? Forget about, I know there'll be people watching on here going, well, they don't look that bad on Channel 4. Forget about Channel 4 for now, okay? Please just forget about what you see on there. That's an extremely good television programme. Billy and that, awesome blokes, Brilliant guys, all right? But that program in particular represents nothing to do with the selection I did, all right? There's some great things on there, some great bottle testers, some great things to test the mindset and all that sort of stuff, but it's filmed over a couple of weeks. Selection, as you're going to find out, goes over quite a long period of time. So what I'm saying is make sure that you've got a little bit of give in your body if you're going to attempt it. Make sure you've got something that you can actually sort of like throw into the fire when you need, and are digging deep, you need to be able to reach into your locker and say, I've still got a bit left. Because if you've burnt everything out, and I do remember guys turning up, like I say, twitching like racehorses, bouncing about, muscles on muscles, but no fat. And so when the body needed something to burn, there ain't much there. It's trying to burn muscle, all right? You've got to have stuff to give. Right, so my selection continued. My selection preparation consisted of hill walking, swimming, some light weights, a little bit of running, and loads of eating and drinking. All right? Okay, so it's very important. You're also, during that period, going to have to go and do, nowadays for sure, in my days it wasn't everybody, but they were just bringing it in, you're going to have to go and do a pre-course. All right? Hereford are going to want to have a look at you. You're going to turn up, and you're going to probably do some quite strenuous physical activities. You're going to be tested on your weapon skills. They're going to look at you as a soldier. They're going to ask you some basic questions and all that sort of stuff. And they're going to make sure in their own minds that they're happy that you attend their course. Basically, so you don't turn up and make a complete mug of yourself and get thrown off within a day of being there. And that does happen. You know, people turned up on my course and went almost the same. People failed the basic fitness test, which is a 1.5 mile squatted run out and a 1.5 mile individual run back. I think you get something like 10.5 minutes to do it. You could walk it quicker. People failed that, okay? So what the briefing courses do is eliminate the possibility of everybody turning up who's just going to be a complete waste of time and a drain on everybody's resources, because to load you onto the course, to get all your paperwork done and all that sort of stuff, is an effort for somebody, and it's a wasted effort if you literally turn up, boom, and the next day you're gone, isn't it? Now, I also know that some people, okay, some characters, some creatures, used to turn up on selection just so that they could say on their documents, attended Special Forces selection. Because it used to say that on your documents. It would say, attended Special Forces selection. And, of course, they're not going to say, came off because he was a muppet, all right? It's going to say, didn't go any further or whatever. It's not going to put you in a bad picture, all right, however you were, all right? So that, for some people, was a good thing to have on their documents. That don't happen anymore, I wouldn't have thought. It can't happen because, like I say, the briefing course is going to go, no, you're not fit for purpose, son. Off you go. Do you know what I mean? All right, so that's that dealt with. Then, really, it's a case of getting your paperwork done, getting all your ducks lined up. Don't do what I did, right? I cancelled all the insurance on my car, all the tax and all that, and then the bloke who was going to give me a lift failed to give me a lift, and I ended up driving down there, no tax, no insurance, and I actually ended up on orders for it because I got caught by the police. So, yeah, don't do that, right? Don't cancel everything, because the probability is that you're going to be coming home at some stage, right? The probability is that you're not going to pass the election if you go, and that's not me being doom and gloom. That could be for a number of reasons. It could be for injury. It could be for not being suitable. It could be because you just physically can't do what you're trying to do. Okay, and that's going to get you a one-way ticket back home. All right. So don't get cancelling everything before you go. Don't get throwing all your stuff away. Don't get burning all your bridges back in your old unit, because when you find yourself back in your old unit, you're going to be saying to yourself, and you might not be allowed to go and have a second attempt straight away, and maybe not at all. So don't burn your bridges before you go. Massively important, okay? Once you've passed, you might consider burning a few, but not until you have passed, because that would be stupid, all right? So, yeah, that's pretty much, in a nutshell, what you need to do. Let's take away a summary from that then. Don't go mad. Eat lots. Make sure you've got some wastage on your body you can afford to get rid of, okay? And that's about it. Next time, we're going to talk about the hills. And we're going to talk about how I felt on the hills, all right? Because it was epic. Look forward to seeing you next time.